I've come to realize that the more desperately we seek to feel whole, the more we abandon the parts of ourselves that are worthy of it. Truthfully, needing love pushes it away. And most people don't even realize they're doing it. Most people don't realize it at first, but the very need for love, for validation, for someone to choose us, begins to change us. And it's very subtle. It changes your energy. Over time, when that need goes unmet, you begin to get frustrated, not just with the situation, but with ourselves. And that frustration shifts your energy. There might be self doubt or even worse, self compromise. What was once a need becomes the very thing that drives who you are. It becomes more of a burden. And eventually we stop showing up as who we truly are, and we start showing up as who we think we need to be loved. I know this because I lived it. There was a time in my life when I just wanted to be loved. The need was urgent. It felt urgent, not just to be in a relationship, but to be chosen, to be picked, to feel like I was wanted. A need that is deeply rooted in human conditioning and identity. And at a certain stage in life, this need to be loved intensified. And I know I'm not the only one that has experienced this, but there's a big part of the human experience that sometimes desperately search to become something, to feel whole, love, approval. Feelings come and go, and acknowledging them is human. I feel like sometimes people see spirituality as something that makes you numb in a way. It as if people that are on a spiritual path don't feel. And I don't think that is what that is. I don't see it as that. I see it as you become more grounded in the truth, then you become more unshakable by feelings, emotions. You know that you're not the feeling, but the human part still acknowledges the feeling. I feel like we need to acknowledge what we're feeling, and those feelings can bring emotions, but the point here is not all feelings are rooted in truth. Most are shaped in or shaped by human conditioning. And when we validate those illusions, we give them power. The desperate need for love is one of them. It feels real, but it comes from a place that feels it's not whole. And that energy, that neediness, doesn't attract love. It actually repels it. We chase it, not realizing that we're really just trying to be seen, noticed, validated in some sort of way. And when I began waking up, awakening, that need didn't just go away. I still wanted someone to tell me I was enough, to love me deeply so I could feel complete. But the truth is, wanting love is not love. Wanting love is about the need for love. It was about the emptiness I thought someone else could fill. And that's the illusion. That's the illusion. The awakening journey doesn't give you what you think you need. It breaks the illusion of needing anything at all. Specifically the parts of us that needs to attach to something out there. And slowly but surely, it brings you back to yourself. You go from needing to being. And with that comes peace, the kind that doesn't shake when people leave or when no one shows up or when we are not partnered with someone. Because that needy energy that I carried, it wasn't invincible. It was like a magnet, an energetic magnet, and it pulled in people who mirrored the same need, not just in a love relationship, but in friendships too as well. What we attract, in simplicity, we attract what we are, not what we say we want, if that makes sense. And when you're in a space of need, you will attract need. And I didn't realize that at one point in my life. And that attracting someone else that needs something as well, that only creates this imbalance. Because most relationships built on just need are temporary and they drain you. Someone always ends up feeling like they're given more than they're getting. And when the needs stop being met, the connection fades. That's why people feel so tired, so heartbroken, even resentful in their relationships. This isn't about being in a relationship. It's about the need for one. It's about chasing validation through someone else's presence. But awakening dissolves that. It returns you to your wholeness by showing you how much of our pain was born in illusion. And even though it feels real, the more you recognize your true nature, you realize you don't need this thing. You don't need validation, external validation, to be whole. And that's the illusion. And that's when the freedom begins. Even when the human in us breaks through, even when emotions rise and feelings rise, your awakening teaches you to see it and not be it. To recognize suffering and to step out of it. To let go of what you thought you needed to be and return to what you already are. And maybe there's someone that's just going through a separation in a relationship, and you're feeling broken in some sort of way, heartbroken maybe. Maybe this is for you. Presence, we return to presence. Always coming back to presence. If life brings you someone, then they're your person. But soulmates, they aren't always the perfect match. Uh, They're they're not always the ideal partner. I think well, for me, I used to think that your person meant that they were that perfect match, that perfect person, but I I learned otherwise. I see the soulmates as they're mirrors. They mirror you, reflecting back what you need to see, what we need to see in ourselves, what we need to remember, maybe. They awaken what's asleep in a way. Love is not, it's not earned, it's recognized. Love. And that's the shift from needing to be loved to being that love. So I've learned to be careful with the energy of need because it calls in more to itself. It pulls in, it attracts the same energy and it calls in more. And that energy also feeds attachment. And where there is deep attachment, there's almost always suffering. I haven't been in a relationship for some years, not because I'm avoiding one, but because there's no longer a need for one in my case. And I know if I get into one, I'll look back and cherish these single years. Cherish them. There is a level of growth, whether personal or spiritual, ideally spiritual, that can be only found in solitude. So if you're not partnered right now, use the time to go deeper with yourself, I would say. And when you're fully where you are, you become more present. The suffering eases, the suffering of needing to be validated, because the need dissolves. It dissolves. Awakening has a way of stripping away everything we cling to. I don't know if you can relate to this. And yes, there's grief in that. There's grief in losing the illusion. All relationships are temporary. All relationships are temporary. And that's the truth. Sometimes hard to accept, but that's the truth. But there's freedom in that grief. Detachment is the door to that freedom. Detachment is the door to that freedom. So, this need for someone else's presence, validated, is An illusion is an illusion, and it repels the love that you truly deserve. When there's this energy of need to grab it, to hold on to it so tightly, you repel it in that sense because you're losing sight of the love that is within you. So, this is the awakening to return to presence, return to yourself, and discover the love that does not need to be earned, just recognized. And from that place, love is found. Love is found. Thank you for sitting in with me. If you found this to be helpful in some way, leave a heart emoji, or share a comment, and let's continue to spread the love. Much of the world around us needs that right now. Thank you. Thank you for listening.